place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In this jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. I know that evening's empire has returned into sand, vanished from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, but still not sleeping. My weariness amazes me, and I'm brandished on my feet. I have no one to meet, and the ancient empty streets too dead for dreaming. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Mr. Tambourine Man by Mr. Bob Dylan. Like many of his songs, it's got a little quirk if you want to get it right. This is one of those songs many people play it the wrong way, but it's not difficult to do it the right way, and I think it sounds so much better and so much more like the original recording. But in order to do so, there's two things you need to do. First of all, you need to tune your thickest string down one tone, drop D tuning, and then you pop a capo on at the 3rd fret. Always a good idea to check your tuning once the capo is on and tweak as necessary. If you've got the capo on, the notes that you're looking for will be F, C, F, B flat or A sharp depending on what your tuner says, D and G. Let's get to a close-up. Check it out. So we're starting off with a D chord. You can strum all 6 strings here with a D chord. Sounds nice and fat. And if you want to play kind of the same ornaments as the original recording, we use a sus2, which is just lifting off 2nd finger there. The strumming, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and down, 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 up, down, up, down. But note here that we're strumming the thicker strings, 1, 2, then more of the chord on beat 2. Bass, chord, bass, up, down, up. And this up, down, up, the up, down is with the 2nd finger off, and the last one, the last up, sorry, is when it goes back down. So 1, 2, 3, off, off, on. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Now, like most things Bob Dylan, it's not an exact science here, so what I'm giving you is a kind of amalgamation of different points where that kind of riff is played. Again, if you want to get really into the minutiae with Dylan, it takes quite a lot of study. A lot of it's a little bit random, so I would encourage you to kind of make your own version of it based on his stuff, rather than just trying to nail exactly what he was doing, because it is different nearly every time he plays it. So let's get into the verse now, and I'll show you the main quirk of this tune. So the song starts with a chorus, and the first chord is a G chord, but it's not a regular G chord. Do you remember we've got our thicker string tuned down one tone? If we try and play a regular G, this is the wrong note. It is possible to play a regular G and drop D tuning. This would be, say, the way Neil Young might play a G chord, but Bob took a different approach. I think it really defines this song to my ears, is instead of having the G as the bass note, he puts this, the B note. Okay, I know it's not actually a B because of the capo, it's actually a D, but it's a G with a B bass chord. Okay, so the thicker string is muted. That's really important. The tip of your 1st finger mutes the thicker string, 2nd fret, 3 open strings, and either the 3rd finger or your little finger down, 3rd fret on the thinner string. I tend to use my little finger, but I think most people might prefer to use their 3rd finger there. It doesn't really matter. Use the one that is most comfortable for you. So every time I say in the chord, if I'm talking about the chords and I say a G chord, it's actually going to be a G with a B bass. Just if I try and sing along with the chords there, G/B or G with a B bass is a little bit of a mouthful. So I'm just going to call it regular G, but it's always going to be G with a B bass all of the way through this particular song. So the chord progression starts with a G, so hey Mr. Acoustic Man, D a song for G. I'm not D chord and the G no place I'm A to. If you want to put a little A sus4 embellishment there, you can do that again. So G, Mr. Accordion Man, D a song for G. I'm not D chord and the G no place I'm A. And again A with a little sus4 if you want. G, Mr. Accordion Man, D a song for G. In the D chord jangle, G chord, I'll come A-ing to you. Just at the end there of the chorus, you've got that little D chord again, and you can add D sus4 or D sus2. Song like this is definitely fine to add in your own embellishments as you feel fit, but do remember that over embellishing is like adding too much spice to your food. It just doesn't make it taste nice. So use embellishments tastefully. Don't go to town, and just because you know how to do an embellishment doesn't mean you should always do one. Okay, so use them sparingly. Again, one more time through that chorus all of the way through. So G, starting with the G chord. Hey, Mr. Accordion Man, a song for G. I'm not D chord and there's G no place I'm according to. G, Mr. Accordion Man, D a song for G. In the D chord jangle, G chord, I'll come A. So the verses are essentially the same progression as the chorus, but we get an extra D to G, or a couple of extra D to Gs, depending on where we are in the song. In the great folk tradition of Bob Dylan, the storytelling is much more important than the structure. So very often you'll find chord progressions extended in order to get the story in, and that's totally fine. It's just part of the style. But what it does mean is when you're learning these songs, you have to remember if there's a repeated section where you get out of it. Okay, that's one of the key things to do. So checking out the chords with the lyrics above can be really helpful for this kind of tune. So let's go through the first verse now. So it's starting on the G again. And G that evening's A chord has D chord into G. D chord from my G left me D chord here to G, but still not A chord. The 2 bars there. My G chordness, it A chords me. I'm D chord on my G, and I D no 1 to G, and the D chord empty G, 2 dead for A chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're back into the chorus again. Okay, so this is another one of those quirks of his song is starting with the chorus. It's not super unusual, but much more common to start with the verse for a song. Obviously, this one's starting with the chorus, then there's a verse, then there's a chorus, then there's a verse, and it just repeats between those 2 different sections. Let me go through the verse one more time again. So starting with that G chord. I know that evening's A chord has D chord into G. D chord from my G chord here to G, but still not A chord. It's a bit too low for me down that octave, but my G chord, it's an A chord me. I'm D chord on my G. I have no 1 to G, and the D chord empty, G's too dead for A chord. Tambourine Man, etc. And that's about it for this tune. It starts with the chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. and you're done. The key thing here was probably going to be remembering all of the words. There are quite a lot of them. And as I said, one of the key things that you need to memorize when you're doing this sort of thing is where the chord progression changes away from the D to the G part, because it's repeating around those a few times. If you get lost with that, it can be make it for a little bit of a stumble. But just be aware that after the D to G, it's going to the A chord is kind of the release of the line. And the A chord is held there for 2 bars. That's the thing to remember. Just make a little note on your lyric sheet. Definitely a good idea, I feel like, is to either write out by hand. Writing out lyrics by hand is really good for memorization. So even if you've got a printer and you can just copy them off the internet and then print them out, writing them out by hand is a really, really good way of kind of getting it in here. And then just using a little highlighter or something to mark where that chord progression changes, you'll probably find helps you a lot with actually being able to perform the tune. Really hope you enjoyed this one. Plenty more Dylan coming very soon. So yeah, have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.